Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Laura Wilkie with Down Home with Lemon Pie, and I'm going to talk to you guys about homeschooling while pregnant. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about my new curriculum. It's Hero as a Character, and it is a character-based curriculum that you can use during morning time, tea time, or bedtime. It seamlessly blends science, nature studies, heroes, history, and character traits and skills that you want your kids to learn. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, head over to my website. It's downhomewithlemonpie.com and check it out for yourself. All right, guys, welcome back. If you are brand new to my channel, I am so glad you're here. Welcome. I hope you find this helpful. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell because you otherwise may not get notifications about when new videos are uploaded, and I don't want you to miss something. Okay, guys, so I'm a homeschool mom. We're Christians. We are home most of the day, kind of have a little homestead going, and I have 6 kids and 1 more on the way, okay? And it seems like every couple years we are actually homeschooling while pregnant, okay? So my kids are really close together. My oldest 2 are 10 and 8. Then I have 2, those are my girls. Then I have 2 boys and they are 7 and 5. And then we have twins that are 3 years old, okay? And every couple years, about every 2 years or so, we're either pregnant or we're homeschooling with a newborn or with toddlers, one of those. It just seems like we're constantly in a season of change. So I hope that I can offer you guys some little encouragements, maybe some tips in this video about kind of how to make that go smoothly in your own home when you are maybe experiencing some of the same things. So the biggest thing, and probably the biggest hurdle that I had to conquer myself, was when my oldest was starting kindergarten. We had just welcomed our 4th baby. We had already been homeschooling for a little while because we had been doing preschool stuff at home and just all the things with my 2 oldest girls. So I had a toddler and a newborn during her kindergarten years. Part of that, even I was pregnant still. So it was really hard for me to let go of some of those expectations that public schools kind of instill in us. I went to public school myself, and so I had a lot of expectations about what that would look like, and it's so hard to let go of that and to realize and recognize the freedom that you can have in your own homeschool, okay? And one of the best tips that my mother-in-law gave me, she also homeschools, and I have passed this tip on to so many people. I even talked about it in several other videos. But it's just that you need to remember that it is a season, okay? And in homeschool, you are going to have so many years, especially if you're planning to long-term homeschool, you're gonna have so many years to cover all the topics. And you may or may not cover a certain topic in the same year that they cover it in public school. Growing up, I remember lots of kids, they would move into our school district and they had gone to another school, and we would start studying something and they would say, oh, we learned that last year, okay? And back then I just didn't even put it together, right? But as an adult, for some reason, I felt this pressure that, you know, certain topics, certain skills had to be accomplished in certain grade levels, right? And that's just not true. So when you can let go of some of those expectations, I also had the expectation that, you know, like we had to really excel in our lessons, that we needed to complete every problem, for example, on a page. Like if there was a math page or whatever, we had to do every single one. Not only do we have to do every problem on a page, we had to do every page in the book. And then somebody kind of pointed out to me, they don't even do that in public school. The teachers are constantly saying, hey, on this page, I just want you to do odds. On this page, just do the bottom half. Or this page, skip this whole section, right? Isn't that true? And for some reason, I felt like that wasn't something we could do. Like we weren't we weren't really living up to our full expectation as homeschoolers. And I think it's because there's such a stigma attached to homeschooling. So we feel like we have to be better, right? So when you can let go of that expectation that you have to do it a certain way, it has to look a certain way, whatever, that really frees you up, okay? Okay, so my second tip is going to be bring down your lessons to a minimum, okay? Pregnancy is not the time, or even when you have a brand new baby, those first few weeks or maybe months, that is not the time to pull out all the enrichment areas that you want to cover in homeschool, or all the extra skills that you want to make sure that are included in your homeschool. We've studied lots of neat things over the years. We have done some unit studies. That is not the time for unit studies. We have done, we've done like where we've learned about some Latin words. That is not the time for that. We have done things where we have just done things that aren't, they're just extra, okay? They're not like art history. They're just things that are extra. And this is not pregnancy, or especially if it's a challenging pregnancy, or if you're later in the pregnancy, or maybe even in that first trimester where you're really nauseous. Those are not the times when you have a new baby that you're going to be pulling all that stuff out, okay? So for us, bringing down lessons to a minimum literally means like reading, writing, math, okay? And that is totally fine to just say, okay, these are the 3 things that we're going to make our goal each day. And that is fine. For you, it may be something different. If your state has particular things that you need to study in a school year, it may look slightly different. But I'm going to cover some of those things that you may be able to still cover in a different way. So stay with me. But basically, we just bring all of our lessons down to a minimum, okay? If it is a challenging time period, a challenging season in life, we are not worrying about, oh my gosh, I saw, this other person and they're doing the same curriculum as us and they are doing all these extra things. That is not the time to add in all those things, okay? And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Who cares? The kids are not going to be behind, okay? They will pick it up. Kids are so resilient and flexible. They will pick up those skills again. It just may be in a different, time. That may be a time when their brain can develop more, whatever. But I know a lot of people when the schools shut down last year with that crazy virus that we're not going to mention, but when that happened, a lot of people were really worried about their kids' education, and they didn't need to be. Okay, that was really unnecessary because the kids bounce back anyways, right? They always have a break for summer. They always have breaks here and there, whatever. And the times when learning just stops, okay? So in your homeschool, you can adjust that with your own schedule. So for us, with me being pregnant this year, we have started our school year a lot earlier. And we are planning a big break when the baby comes so that we don't have to worry about being behind. So we're kind of planning ahead. That's another tip that I'm giving you guys, is to kind of adjust your schedule, adjust it so that it fits, because the baby's coming, so just adjust it so that it fits that schedule that you need. Okay, so the next thing I want to tell you and highly encourage you to do is to utilize educational programming and streaming services, apps, games, those kinds of things. I know there's this big thing in the world that tells us kids can't watch this much TV, or they cannot have so many hours of screen time and this and that, and I agree with that. However, there are times in your life, there are seasons in your life, there are times throughout your day when it is completely appropriate and necessary for your own sanity or for other things that need to get done for those things to happen. So please do not let yourself have mom guilt or any of that goes along with that. It is okay. So times when we were pregnant, especially when I was pregnant with my twins, we watched a lot of nature studies, okay? We watched a lot of Liberty Kids. There's programs out there. I have a list that I will link for you guys in the description of this video of some ideas, but there are so many things. My list cannot be up to date always because it's constantly changing. Things are constantly being added. But if you have a streaming service like Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever you have, there's tons of options. So you can go on there, you can find nature documentaries, you can find things about like the Bible, things that they have done, like archaeological things. You can just sit down and watch this kind of stuff with your kids. There are things on YouTube that you can watch. There's whole Bible things. There are learning songs for the little ones. There are leapfrog videos. There's just so many things that you just really don't even need to worry about it. So when I talked about earlier, bringing your lessons down to a minimum, for example, maybe your state requires that you teach history every year, okay? And if that's the case, then maybe the workbook assignments are the reading and writing and math, right? And then maybe you have like a quiet time in the morning or in the afternoon or whatever, whenever you need it for your sanity or for your body or whatever. Maybe that's the time that you get online or you get on your streaming service and you're watching something that follows that subject, okay? You just probably want to keep track if that's something that your state requires. But I think that's a totally viable option. I don't see there's anything wrong with doing those kinds of things. I just think it's good. I do. Okay, the next tip I have for you guys is to just realize that this is actually a time for your family to grow, okay? My kids, their compassion, and it hasn't always been this way, but their compassion when I am pregnant or with a newborn grows, okay, within our family unit. And that is so, so important and so good. Those are lifelong skills for them, right? So I'm just gonna say, you know, let's say like when I was pregnant with the twins, for example, or when I was nursing the twins, it was constant. It was constant, and I constantly needed to lay down. So we did lots of things in our bed, like in mommy's bed or on the couch with mommy, and that was totally fine. My kids would take turns. I would just call them in one at a time, and they would bring in like all of their little workbooks and we would work through it together. Or they would do, they would all gather around. It's like a party, right? On mom's bed. And we would watch some of the shows that were educational, and that would give me time to just lay down and relax. And they were all engaged and busy, so I didn't have to worry about, you know, where are they? What are they doing? Are they tearing something up? They're all right there with me. And it was fine. It was completely fine. So we also did a lot of read alouds during that time, because when you're nursing twins, it's just a good time. It's just a good time. I have to sit still and to do most of that, and because there were two babies, so it's a good time for me to pull out a book or a couple books or picture books or chapter books, whatever. And this is like our story time, and our family can grow, okay? So just love, just being around them more, just teaching your kids that there's more to learning in life than checking all the boxes. Okay, guys, this is my last tip, and it is so important. I give this to every mom that I know who is homeschooling and is pregnant or juggling pregnancy and toddlers or newborns or whatever. And they come to me and they are struggling. And this is the tip that I give them, okay? I remind them that there is so much naturally occurring skills that kids need, possibly more so than some of the ones that are listed as homeschool skills, right? That kids need just those life skills, okay? Those life skills, like learning what does it look like when a family welcomes a new baby, okay? I was the youngest in our family. I had no idea what that looked like because I was the baby. So I didn't know. I didn't know how much everybody needed to pitch in and help. It just wasn't something that I was accustomed to. So it's just so good. The kids start to see, oh, if mom can't do this particular chore and it needs to get done, it's not going to get done, so I can help, okay? And you can remind them and guide them through that. Mommy has to feed the baby now. Maybe you could help mommy with this or that or whatever, right? So you may have to kind of coach it a little bit, but they'll start to see and pick those things up. I remember like my biggest kids, when I would put my twins down for nap, their job was to clean the dishes from lunch and from breakfast. And they learned those life skills. They learned how to wash dishes. And no, it wasn't always perfect. No, it wasn't always the way I wanted it. And so when I could come back after the twins were sleeping, and I would just kind of call them in and say, look here, guys, here's a couple things we missed. So we need to look for that next time so we don't have to do it twice. And it's just those life skills that oftentimes when you're homeschooling, the kids have so many assignments or so many things that they're doing that sometimes those things can get missed. So in a lot of ways, it's actually a blessing to kind of have those times in your life, those seasons when things just have to slow down and you have to focus on other things than what you've been focusing on. There's just so many life skills. The kids are learning how to solve problems when mom can't come help them right now because she's feeling nauseous or whatever. They learn how to solve those problems, okay? And maybe they don't. Again, you may have to coach them. So, but they start to pick up those skills. I promise there is a time when, because we had so many littles so close together, I just remember thinking, there's so many of them, nobody can tie their shoes, nobody can buckle their car seats, nobody can do any of the things. Everybody needs me to read them their lessons because nobody can read, just all the things. And it's such a blessing because it was a season. It was a season. And as they grow, we moved out of that season and into a new season. And so this pregnancy is actually a lot easier on our whole family. Not because it's only one and not two. I mean, a little bit, but not really. But because my big girls and my big guys have gotten so big that they're able to help. They're able to do so much more. And it is such an awesome time. My big girls who are 10 and 8 are able to cook meals because they have been learning for years. I prepped them during times when I felt really good or we weren't pregnant or didn't have a toddler. I've just taught them through the years and we kind of planned ahead. But they have learned so many things. My little guys are really good at getting some other jobs done that need to get done, and it's just such a blessing. So they are constantly, hey mom, why don't you go lay down? You look tired, can I go do this for you? And I love it. I love it because those are life skills that they need to know. They need to know how to step up and be a help to somebody who needs help. They need to be able to recognize when somebody is needing an extra hand. It's just such a blessing. So do not forget that they are picking up naturally occurring life skills. Yes, you may have to coach them. You may have to guide them. That's fine. But in the end, there is a wonderful blessing. God designed families. He designed people to have families. So you don't need to stress and worry. All right, guys, I hope this has been an encouragement to some of you. I hope you have found it helpful. I will link, like I said, some tips in the comments below the description of this video. If you haven't already, you need to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to this channel, and follow us on Facebook. I would love to have you guys join us and kind of watch our journey. But I will see you guys next time.